What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
pdExes.
Episode 14.
Yeah.
Yikes.
We're going to say it's a lifestyle podcast now because shitty dating stories, we do try.
No, we've actually covered quite a bit. We've had a lot of dating stories that we talk about.
We need the good filler in between me almost getting killed and then getting kicked out of
here's
the bar.
the thing. If you haven't listened to episode 1 or 2, like, you don't know what the fuck our podcast is supposed to be about.
Oh, that's
you know what I
true.
mean? So if you're working your way back, you're only going to realize, like, 12 hours later what we initially started. Bitch, I want to go on a road trip somewhere that I can just listen to the podcast like the whole.
Yes.
Because, like, we got to have at least 13 hours or 12 hours worth of shit. It's
we
crazy.
found out recently we have a mutual friend that we work with.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And they gave me their phone to find the podcast before I left. And it was weird because I typed it in and on their phone, like, I swiped and it was like, episodes of us. And I was like, damn, this feels like we actually are fucking doing something. So that feels really good.
Well, and like we were talking about it, we do it every week. So it's a lot. I mean, we also don't have to do it every week. We just want to do it every week.
Mm-hmm.
I think the time that we if we stop doing it, it's like going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And you go like, oh, I'll just take tonight off. And then it's easy for you to then not
Never
do
go.
it.
Correct.
But if you come and the podcast ain't out, it's fucking Thursday. I mean, maybe the bitches just want to have some time. But we'll have an episode every week.
More than likely, I didn't come help. So, it's probably my fault.
But it's a lot, though. I mean, I've gotten the editing down pretty well. Those first couple episodes, man, it was hours and hours of editing.
I should publicly say thank you for all the editing and hours of shit you do. And I just get to show up and be the face.
Half of the face.
Fuck you. I'm so over these I'm so over.
Well, because it's my face and your face, so you'd be half of the face.
I know, bitch. Can it ever be about me? Can it ever be about a bitch?
So one time my brother and I we're good friends with some of the guys in Slipknot. We went to a show and I put on a t-shirt and all my t-shirts are great because, why not? Why not have good t-shirts? So I put on a shirt and he was just like, do you always have to one-up me with the t-shirts? And I was like, do you know me? Like, welcome to not being me. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm always going to come with a good t-shirt. But honestly, my brother will literally he'll just open up a gym bag and grab a shirt out and be like, I'm wearing this shirt right now for 2 days.
Well, we went on vacation. You just popped tags for every single day we were there. And I was like, you didn't plan? He's like, no, I just went shopping the day before. And I was like, dear God, I've been planning my Disneyland outfits for 6 months so I could have these fucking photos.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I kind of plan, but I have an idea
Will you
of
explain, we're talking about t-shirts. Will you explain your wedding t-shirts at Star Wars Land?
Greg and I wore matching shirts, and they both say, I know, on them. So Han Solo is going to get frozen in carbonite. Princess Leia, she goes, I love you. And he goes, I know. And they have matching shirts, so the girl can do the I love you, and then the guy will wear the I know one. But we thought it'd be really funny to just both wear the I know ones because they're the man ones. And it was very funny.
It was funny, and it was really cute because there were a lot of people that you could kind of watch the gears turning as they walked by, and you and Greg, and you're holding hands, and they're like, really cute. Love that. It was very cute.
We went on the Rise of the Resistance ride. And they're supposed to be really mean to you.
They were mean.
They were kind of mean because I wanted
They're so good at their jobs.
Yeah, but I like that they are mean because
I would be great at that.
Yeah.
I would be great at that. I'd be like, nope, you go over here. You two, blue. Fuck you guys. You, orange. Get out the exit. I would have been great for that. People were like, they're so mean. I was like, oh, how do I fucking apply?
But this one guy was like, oh, what? He was talking to Greg and he goes, what do you know? And he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. We just got married. And he goes, do you love him? And he goes, yeah. And then he looks at me. He goes, do you love him? And I was like, eh.
Everyone fucking laughed.
The whole...
it's a long, subway station.
Yeah.
Everyone in the whole thing laughed, and Home Slice almost fucking cracked a smile.
He had to leave because he was so, he was going to laugh.
Yep.
And that's my sense of humor. It's obviously I love Greg. We just got married, but I'm just was like, eh.
Publicly, in front of everyone.
Good.
He was like,
so good.
Eh. That ride was also fucking fantastic.
So good. Rise of the Resistance is probably one of the best rides. We're not going to do any spoilers. I recommend do not watch anything. My fucking dad. So because we went to Disneyland to get married, so we had a small group of people,
But we knew we were going.
Right,
we knew it was this Disney plan. It wasn't like, we're waking up surprise, we're going to Disney.
So my dad's like, "Oh, we're watching the YouTube videos or whatever," and I'm like, "Don't fucking watch the video.
So basically,
You're
our
gonna
dad
go there."
is watching videos that vloggers do where they're walking through all of it, and so basically, there's nothing special,
Right.
The one thing I will fucking say though, sorry, Dad, I know you're not watching, but the best part was I told him, we were like, hey, we don't want you to watch these videos. We want you to be super surprised because it's Disneyland, right? Whether or not you think you're into Disneyland, like I'm not a big Disney person, but like it's very nostalgic regardless of the age. So it was funny because we all wanted to meet up and our dad was pressed and he was like, I don't know why your brother wants to be there when we all walk in together. And we walk in, he was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And he's just, Ryan's in the back, just fucking cheesing, recording us because it was really a really special, cool experience. If you haven't checked out any of that stuff, like you got to go.
It's really cool.
It was
and
super
when I'm at
cool.
work, I'm always telling people like, oh my God, you have to go check it out because it's very, very well done. You do feel like you're in Star Wars land. They have had many opportunities to fuck this up. They could have made it so horrible.
They could have just done one ride. It's a whole...
It's a land. Like, it's
whole
a whole
experience.
Deal. Yeah,
it's a whole
really,
fucking
really
experience.
Cool.
It's amazing.
Disney, sponsor us.
Yo.
Yeah, I really, really like it. The food was really good. We really like their vegetarian, vegan options.
Fuck, they were good. Oh my God.
So good.
What was the coffee? They have this fucking cold...
Yeah.
Oh, dear
God. It's a cold brew, yeah.
They have this cold brew, and it's only in fucking Star Wars land. And it's cold brew... I want to say someone fucking said, someone said it was cream cheese, sweet cream. That's debatable because it doesn't fucking taste like that. It's very cloud, puffy, whipped. I don't fuck with dairy. I don't do cow milk. We'll get into that some other day. I don't do it. I had 2 of them. I had 3 or 4 the whole trip.
It was so good.
But it is cold brew, cloud foam, Cocoa Puffs. Dear fucking God.
Yeah, it was really
There's
good.
a picture of me on my Instagram where I'm holding both of them and I'm just so in sheer fucking bliss. I would go to Disneyland just for that drink.
And it's funny because Greg and I went back. We were on our way to Coachella. So we flew in and then like we were like, oh, we'll pop over because we have passes. So we were like, we'll pop in. Everything was shut down. Everything. So we got there super early. We were
thinking you're about to just have the best
we'll just
day.
pop in, have a popcorn, have some food, maybe do a ride or 2, and then head out to Palm Springs.
What a life.
And everything was closed. All the rides were closed. I feel like it was a staffing thing, like they had a bunch of call outs.
Yeah, but what did you and Greg say?
Oh, the simulation didn't have time
To prepare for you guys showing up to Disney because you called an audible.
Yeah. And so we went to Star Wars Land. Everything was closed. Went back to Tomorrowland. All the rides were closed. There were a couple rides, but everything was like breaking down. It was very, very weird. We ended up not riding a single ride. I think we had like a popcorn. No, the popcorn thing wasn't even open. Like we didn't have anything. I think we ended up getting like some churros. And then we went over to
sad churros because that's the only thing you could have got.
We went to California Adventures and we were going to do the Guardians of the Galaxy ride where that one drops you. And the line was like an hour wait. And we waited for like 20 minutes and we were like, let's just go. And then it was the time we went to Disneyland. We didn't ride a single fucking ride.
That's crazy. Not by choice, but just because.
Well, we just thought like, hey, we'll just go grab the food that we like or we'll get a coffee. Like legit everything was fucking closed. And it was like 11 in the morning. Like it wasn't even like, oh, we just got there right when the park opened. But COVID, staffing, I mean, you know.
The best advice that I got going to Disney was from a couple friends that said, bring water.
Oh.
So we brought a case of water down there.
I do a Camelback.
Camelback, that's super smart, but just having water. So we live in Portland where we have Bull Run water reservoir where like humans can't even go near it.
Oh, really?
And it's mountain. It's basically snow melt, right? So that's where all our water comes from. We don't put fluoride in our water. So like when I moved to California, it's fucking drastic. The water is crazy. So I'm not sure if we've talked about it on the podcast because we do have like quite a few episodes now. So I don't want to like, but they talk about in San Diego. I had a conversation with the girls at my work that there's a scale of dissolvable solids that's in your water.
Yeah.
So 500 is toxic. When I was down there in San Diego, their water rated at $4.50.
Dang.
So would $4.99 not kill you? And $500, like, what's the fucking scale? So you're drinking water, it's like you're chewing it. So when I dated the boyfriend long distance many moons ago, which trust and believe we'll fucking get to him. That's probably the reason why I have this fucking podcast in the first place. But I made him buy me a filtered shower head because my skin was itching all the it was shower water. And so then when you think about it, it's like everything. And that's why, like, when I think about Portland, I'm like, fuck, everything's better. The pizza's better. The coffee's better. Taking a shower up here is better because our water's better, right?
They say that that's what makes a difference, I guess, for New York pizza is the water. So a lot of people say that that's one of the reasons why New York.
So my favorite ramen place, Kinboshi, is behind Sizzle Pie. There's a couple other really good ramen places in Portland. That one's my favorite. It's just one of my favorite places. It's really authentic. The only other location of this ramen house is Japan. So they have one here in Portland because our water's so great. That's what they use to make the noodles. And it's fucking fantastic.
That's fair. That makes sense. Yeah, I really like ramen. My friend took me to a really good ramen place. Like San Francisco had some really good ones. I love the ramen places where it's like there's like 5 seats and that's it. I mean, it sucks because you got to wait in line, but like I love when you're just like right in there. But we're vegetarian now, so it is tough sometimes to find a good vegetarian ramen.
Kimboshi, they have that vegan ramen. It is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, especially when it's like red and it like burns your like whole throat area.
Ramen. Yes, we're talking about ramen here, brother.
Should start making ramen. I feel like we're quarter Japanese, so I feel like I should.
It's in our.
Make it.
I mean, I'll take a ramen class in Japan. I'm not just gonna fucking Google that shit and expect that I'm gonna be able to make authentic. Like I would take a cooking class. You have to boil
everything for a long time. Like that's what makes them so good. Is they get in and they just start boiling ingredients sort of 20 hours ago, and they're like, okay, ramen broth is done. I don't want to boil shit.
Authentic home cooking is hard.
Yeah. We were talking on the phone earlier just about like dates. Places that people want to like take people to or like awkward.
Well, I've had so many bad dates that like having a healthy, positive dating experience with my Pete Davidson has just been so refreshing that I can't even fathom tolerating anything less than what he gives me. It's blasphemous.
Well, it's almost like it's like a Wizard of Oz where it starts off black and white and all of a sudden everything's in color and you're like,
yeah, bitch.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, because you don't know until you get it and then you're just like, this is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, well.
Also when it's easy. You know what I mean?
And
when
easy
a date
and not
is
in a lazy way.
And it's like,
easy and a carefree.
Right. Or just you
go
vibe
with the
well.
flow. Yeah. Everything feels nice. Like I was talking with a couple younger girls. Fuck, I worked with some girls who are a lot younger than me. I'm going to be 32 next month. How old are you going to be next month?
I'm going to be 40.
Oh, you're older than me?
I look really good for 40.
We had one fucking friend, another one of those things where
they thought I was younger than Alexa.
They thought Ryan was fucking 10 years younger than me.
I know. But look at this skin,
is Ryan
though.
older or younger than you? And I said,
we could be twins.
Older. And he goes, I thought Ryan was 21. I was like, bitch, I'm fucking 31. Ryan's almost 40. 40!
I know. But I'm a very happy person, and I think that's reflected in my my body.
Your youth.
My youthfulness. Yeah.
We also have a lot of sex, so maybe that's like
maybe it's all the loads. That's what I tell people. It's from all the loads, all that protein. See, my body's working on breaking all that cum down, and it doesn't have time to like give me wrinkles.
Is that what it is?
It's like, oh my god, we got to get all those people on all that cum. Like, well, what about all the aging shit? Like, we don't have time for that. Process.
Deplete.
No, it's probably not that. I think if you're just like, you're just a happy person, your body will reflect that.
Well, yeah, of course. So whenever I talk to these girls at work about being older, they're like, girl, you're like 21, 22. I'm like, I know, thanks. However, so it's always cute to hear about their dating experience. And one girl's got this boyfriend and he's gone with all their friends and they're in Europe and they're coming back for school. And she's the fucking cutest little thing. But there's another girl I work with and she's going through, she's learning to date and experiencing dating. And it's, very much what I talked about. And I looked at her and I was like, do you actually physically want to go on dates? And
right.
They're like, That's what dating is. Dating is not texting. I know we're in this fucking technological era.
Right.
Dating is not like tee-hee-hee, okay, good night, text you in the morning. A date is actually going and meeting someone to see if your energy vibes.
Everybody's got we talked about this before. Everyone's got a different idea of the word date. So some people are
what
like...
I'm referring to are girls who are just on the apps to talk. There's a difference between talking to waste someone's time, because as a girl, a lot of girls, if you want compliments, bitch, get on a dating app. You're going to have every guy fawning all over you, and you're going to have 9,000 people to talk to. That's why dating apps are hard, because you can just keep swiping and someone else can be, hey, how's your day? Nah.
Well, because I mean, like when people say like, oh, let's go on a date, I think of that as we're going to go out and hang out.
Correct.
It doesn't actually mean we're like anything.
But that's what I'm saying is
some people,
you got to get to the go out part.
Yeah.
So the texty talky and then it fizzles out. That's not dating.
No.
You have to be able to put yourself in
it could
new
be if you're
experiences.
like long distance chatting with somebody and you guys want to be mutually chatting exclusive. You guys could be like, oh, we're dating. This is my...
Yeah, but bitch, you
girlfriend.
catfish until you see him in person.
I don't know. I don't think you... I mean, like I said, everybody's got a different idea of what
When
dating
I
is.
dated someone long distance, before I met them, everyone fucking told me I was getting catfished. Everyone. Until I met him in person.
Right. And then he was a catfish because he's a fucking bottom feeder.
That's a story for another day. After having this experience with my Pete Davidson, and he's so flexible and so comforting, it's kind of crazy to hear these experiences that other girls are going through. So when it comes to dating, like girls, you have not necessarily full control, but your say is so important and valid. So one of the girls I work with, this guy wanted to hang out with her and she was kind of on the fence. And he wanted to take her to a drive-in movie for their first date. Kind of cute. However, if you're not, if you didn't have a 6-hour phone call and you just wanted to lay your head on someone's shoulder and sit in darkness, locked in a car with someone for a couple hours or a double feature.
Right.
And she's like, I don't really feel like that. I'm like, well, would you go do something else with him? And she's like, yeah, I would, And I was like, okay, tell him that. Hey, I'm not feeling a movie tonight. Can we go do something else?
Right.
And I said, if he actually wants to hang out with you and not just fuck you or make out with you.
Yeah, finger blast.
Exactly. He's going to be okay with calling an audible.
Yeah. Well,
so when I said, hey, I don't want to go to this bar, let's go someplace else, he was like, yep, comfy, cozy, I got you.
Yeah. Well, okay. So a lot of people go to first dates at movie theaters. It's just a nice experience. I mean, I love going to movies, but movie theaters fucking suck.
I would never do a movie for a first date.
Because a lot of people do.
You can't talk.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like it's a very non-committal thing. You're doing a thing together, but also you don't have to talk a lot, but you still are going to a place.
I'm learning, I'm absorbing.
You can have talks before and you can have a little talk after, but it's not very, you're not like, talking the whole time, So it's like, it's very chill. Mm-hmm. Now, a drive-in is different because you're in a car.
Correct.
But
can't get up and can't necessarily leave to go to the bathroom.
Maybe a little bit better, but I don't know. Like, only reason I say drive-in might be a good idea is because of COVID. People might not want to go to actual movie theater, so maybe they're trying to blend this in. But like being in a car with some person you haven't met before, and you're just in an enclosed space seems a little weird. But I don't know. Maybe the dude's
it's just comfort level.
Maybe
it's
he's just trying to throw something out and see what the girl thinks.
So if you want to go to a movie as a girl and not talk the first date, you have the power to tell them that. If you want to go have dinner and drinks, or you want to go get ice cream and have something be light and airy for a first Taco Bell for a first date, I don't know if that's light and airy, but I ended up seeing this girl a couple days after, the date. The night they were supposed to go on the date. And I asked her and she said, oh yeah. She's like, I didn't end up going. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you for that. Nice. And I was like, oh, what ended up happening? And she goes, oh, well, I said what you told me to say.
Right.
And I said, hey, I'm not really feeling a movie tonight. Can we do something else? To which she responded, it only goes until midnight.
Okay,
fucking
bitch, I'm not trying.
So then that's exactly what I told her.
I'm not trying to watch Minions and Jurassic World, 4-hour trunk sitting in a fucking car.
It doesn't even, but it's beyond that. It has nothing to do with the movie.
Right.
Because if me and my Pete Davidson went to a movie, we wouldn't have even watched the movie. We would have sat and talked the whole time.
Basically,
you know what I mean?
Finger blast. I mean, maybe that's his move. He's like, oh, we're going to get in there. And
but that doesn't have to be her move.
Right.
And I wanted her to know that.
Yeah.
So
I think as a girl, you have every right to go, I don't really... Because a girl has to play defense. I mean, because like a girl could just literally be like, eat my pussy. And the guy would be like, okay.
Or he's going to put his arm around you. You're probably going to slide away. It's going to feel really uncomfortable. Yeah. That's not a situation you have to put yourself in.
Yeah.
You can call an audible if he doesn't want to reciprocate that.
But, driving could be like not you're driving out kind of in the middle of nowhere sometimes.
It has nothing
just
to
might
even
not be
do
the
with the drive-in.
vibe.
It just has to do with being able to trust your gut instinct. And if I could talk to myself at 19, I would very, very, very much reaffirm that, there's a difference between anxiety and your gut instinct telling you something.
Right.
So, natural segue.
Oh, I just got a notification about our podcast.
Oh, YouTube.
I don't know why I got it so late, but it's for our YouTube.
Oh,
The
speaking of the
Secret
devil.
of Pete Davidson.
Well, natural segue. I watched that episode with my Pete Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
Man, when we're in here, it feels like there's like a cone of protection.
Yeah.
We're just talking shit.
We just talk shit, yeah.
It's a little different when you got to sit on the couch next to someone when you actually fucking watch it on TV. You talk about phone sex and you're watching. He's now watching me tell everybody. And the best fucking part was watching it when we were talking about how like I told him like I would, and he's like, and he listened to it. So basically, what happened was he listened to it on break at work. He listened to it. This is fucking dedication. He listened to the audio and then we've made a thing of watching the videos together because, he always makes an appearance.
They're great. They're fun. Hi.
And so we're sitting on the couch and I pause the fucking YouTube and I turn and look at him because I knew I already listened to it. And I looked at him because I hadn't. This was the first time I listened to it aside from like the editing. Right. And I looked at him and I said, do I talk about having phone sex with you in this episode? And he goes, oh yeah, babe, at the very end. Yeah, hold on. We'll get there. And there were just so many choice parts. And it's so funny because he loves how hard I make you laugh.
Yeah.
And I don't really realize it because, not that often. But he'll go, did you see that you made Ryan Belly laugh?
That's great.
Or there's certain things. So the one thing that we kept rewinding that we couldn't fucking get over was basically... I can't remember. I think it was one time. I think it was Superbad. I think watching Superbad in high school, he talks about like screaming it from the rooftops. Mm-hmm. That was the quote. And so in the last episode or 2 episodes ago, I said, to kick open there, I want to open the door and scream, everybody! And we just fucking like stopped and rewound it. And it's tone deaf, but I'm not really tone deaf, but it's funny because it's just fucking so funny. So there are moments in everyday life where I just look at him and I'm like, he does something because... I'm so fucking attracted to this guy that it's just unreal. So he'll do stuff and I'll just look at him and I'll be like, everybody! Because he's just doing something that's so lovely and cute or whatever. And I just want to fucking tell the world it's so stupid. So stupid.
It's nice though. It's not about looks. It's the personality. It's the person behind.
No, but looks are also a little bit to it. It's that attraction.
When you're attracted to somebody, like Greg looks super cute. I helped trim his beard. But, I'm just always like, oh, you're so cute. He'd be like, oh, I feel gross. He'd be doing yard work or something. And I'm like, oh, you're so cute.
I've never had that before until this relationship. Yard work? I do have 2 older brothers, so why would I do yard work?
But that's good. I don't know. When you're with somebody that's cute.
It's lovely too. I've never experienced, sorry, ex-boyfriends. If you're magically here, thanks for the views.
I have to say that the boyfriend is very cute.
He is very cute.
But also he's a really nice guy. So
he's also very cute with
and I beat him in Mario Kart several times. I
beat him at Mario Kart the very first time. And then that motherfucker went and like on his day off, he said he sat and played for like 8 hours. So fuck you. I beat him real bad, but did you know the Switch has different buttons? I didn't realize that because when you put his Xbox remote next to the Switch remote, the buttons are switched.
Oh.
So what is B on an Xbox is A.
Xbox? What are you talking about?
On an Xbox controller.
You can't play Xbox on a thing. He's got a controller. He's got a Switch controller.
He has an Xbox controller for his Xbox that he plays with an Xbox?
Well, Sony, everybody's got different shit.
So, but when I'm using the Xbox to turn on fucking Netflix and I press B because I think it's A because I'm so used to using my Switch, like they done fucked up all these gamers. They're like, oh, you know what? We're going to make this A
everybody
the back
did their
button.
own shit and then now they got to stick with it. Like Xbox can't change it.
No, of course not.
But yeah, that's cute.
Yeah,
I'm glad
it's been
that
really
you guys
fun.
are having a good time. Watch the podcast. When I watch it with Greg, I always get nervous because Greg's always worried about I'm going to say something stupid and get us in trouble or something, or people at his work are going to hear. So I'm always like a little nervous. I'm like, oh God, did I say something dumb? But I legit like don't give a fuck.
Of course.
I mean, I don't want to get fired. I don't want to get in trouble, but like I don't give a crap what anybody at work thinks. And I always tell people like, it's not safe for work. I talk about crazy shit. So like, if you want to listen, cool. But like, don't come at me. Because I done warn you what the podcast is about.
This is not safe for work, yes.
You know, please, by all means, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. Listen to it. But like, me at work is very, you know, I'm not talking about like sucking dick and everything.
Correct.
So.
At work, I'm very professional and I was leaving today. And like I said, our mutual friend that we just found out recently wanted to listen to the podcast. And my manager was like, Lex, you want me to listen to why can't I listen to your podcast?
Like,
and I looked at her and I said, I love you. If you can listen objectively as my friend, I go, we can do that. Yeah. And she was like, well, you don't think that I can listen? And I was like, I do talk about sucking dick on the podcast. And she goes, oh my gosh. She covers her ear. And I just was like, I tried to tell you.
It's just, yeah, because people say podcasts and it's like, hey, this week we're going to talk about this book I read. Or we're going to talk about this. And then like our podcast, we just decided we're going to talk about whatever. Yeah. And it's great. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Hopefully Taco Bell will sponsor us.
It's fucking something eventually. We're too cute for this.
So
we're too cute and we're working so hard.
I've been trying to bring up this story for 5 episodes now.
Probably about 5.
And it was a date I went on. I want to say date, but it was like more of like a hookup kind of thing. So I met this dude. I think we had chatted online or something.
Set the scene. What year
and then
was it?
I think we ended up running into each other at like a Fred Meyer or something like that. And so I was like, oh, he's actually really cute. Because, you know, online, you don't really know. And then sometimes you can't really get a good vibe on like how a person is or whatever. I think I met him, ran into him somewhere. And so then we were like, oh, hey, we'll hook up sometime. So I go to his place and it was just to go to like fuck or whatever. I think we watched a little bit of TV. And so we're starting to do some sexy time. And he was like,
bitch, you know when he's laughing before he fucking tells the story.
It's okay. The story is so crazy. So he goes, hey, can I? Okay. He's like, I can't even get it out. Okay.
Do you know? Hold on.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay.
You gotta keep. I have friends that listen to the podcast that have told me they listen because they love your laugh so much.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to try to get through this because it's very funny. So he goes, hey, I want to rim you, but I want to eat ice cream at the same time. So and I was like, like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I want to like give you, like, I want to eat your ass out, but I want to like do it with like ice cream in my mouth. And to my thought process, I was like, I just started a vegan diet like 2 days before. And I was like, is this going to break my vegan streak?
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in this fucking week.
I swear to God. Oh my God, I'm crying right now. And of course, I was just like, yeah, sure.
Vegans.
Like, what the fuck am I getting out of this? I have a cold asshole, right?
Did it feel good?
Well, I don't know. So it was chocolate chip ice cream. And so I couldn't enjoy myself because I didn't like the idea of like chocolatey nougats in my asshole, right? It just like I couldn't
Would you
calm down?
Hold on. Viewers want to know, would you have preferred mint chocolate chip?
I think mint would have been a little too stingy. Have you ever used the peppermint like Dr. Bronner's? Oh my God. Okay. So he's doing this and in my head, I'm like, I'm just like.
Okay. I've done whipped cream. I've had like, the secret is cold water before a blowjob, but like, is the rimming about you or him?
Because, it's both.
But in this instance, it feels very much about him.
I think it was very much about him.
I want to eat the ice cream with a little.
So he's like, I don't know what he was doing. I think he was like eating a spoon of ice cream and then being like, and to me, I was like, oh, wow, this feels okay. Because it's like, it's kind of like,
I'm going to cry my
it's like
eyelashes off,
cold,
bitch.
right? And so, but the whole time I'm like, well, I just started this vegan diet. So I don't know
0
if
days since
I don't know if I
dairy
technically
incident.
should be, calling myself a vegan. It's very, very not great for a vegan. And then he was like, oh, let's eat these. I think he wanted to eat grapes together. This is first ever like hanging out. This is some shit you would do with somebody after like 20 dates when they were like, hey, let's eat grapes together.
Let's get weird.
So then he has us, and like, it wasn't a bad time. I don't want to like shit all over this guy. Cause actually it was like, the guy's very nice and it was, everything was like, okay, but it was just weird. So then we ate grapes, but then we were like trying to bite them at the same time. Like, I don't know. I've never done this with somebody before. It was very, very odd. So then we were eating grapes and like making out and eating the grapes and stuff. And that was just very weird. Then
I will say one time I was making out with my Pete Davidson and we had been making out for like 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden he fucking puts a little bit of fucking chewed up Sour Patch Kid in my mouth. And I want to say it was like a blue one. It was like really fucking delicious. And he just kind of like tongued it in my mouth. And I went blank. And I just like stopped kissing him. And I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, oh yeah, Sour Patch Kid. And I was like, how long did you have that in your mouth for? And he's just like, shut up and kiss me. And we just kept making out. It was really cute.
That's not bad.
No, not bad. But like grapes, you like,
Yeah, the grape was weird because like I didn't know what to do. So we were trying to like eat them.
I don't feel like you knew what to do from the start.
No, I didn't. Okay. So then
there's more.
Yes. I can't remember exactly what we were doing after that. I think we were fucking or we fucked for a little bit or like wiener wasn't getting hard or something like that. I can't really remember. But then he goes, oh, I don't know if this is like traumatizing or just funny. He's like, oh, I have, God, I have not told this story in like 10 years. So then he goes, okay, I have this, a dildo, but it's a sucker. It's a sucker in the shape of a dick. So he's like, I could fuck you with that. Like, And I was like, yeah, sure. So then.
Wait, bitch. Wait. You mean to fucking tell me you had a dick-shaped lollipop?
Yeah.
Not rated for sexual activity, bitch.
Just a regular, like a penis-shaped sucker.
Did it break off?
No.
What happened?
He just put it in my ass.
Then did he eat it?
No, I don't think there was any mouth.
What happens if that broke off in your butthole?
I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I was a young, supple little idiot. Yeah. So then he's like,
you let someone put a you let someone put a dick-shaped sucker in your booty hole?
Well, yeah, because we weren't doing any wiener stuff. I didn't really think of anything at the time.
You seem too agreeable.
That's the problem. I've only learned later in life to be like, I'm good.
Yes.
So yeah, that happened. And then I think he was like, oh, I have to watch porn now to get off. So he put on like some porn or whatever. I think we like jacked off or something. But that's it. That was it.
Did you ever look at chocolate chip ice cream the same after that?
Yeah. But every time I think about it.
How long ago was this?
I would say like 10 years ago. Like, it was wild. Like, okay, first of all, I commend the dude for like even wanting to bring it up. But it is a little weird to be like, hey, first date, can I eat ice cream out of your asshole?
Well,
right?
No fetish shaming, no kink shaming.
Yeah.
However, we do have conversations about things like that.
I just like, he didn't talk about any of that before. And he
wasn't like, ooh, I want to fuck you through a donut.
I'm also very, that's funny.
Give me my laugh, babe. Give me my laugh.
I'm also very chill. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm
Agreeable.
very easygoing and very chill. And so it's also kind of like a compliment because he's like, oh, hey, I wanted to like eat ice cream out of someone's asshole before, but I haven't been able to. You know what I
but
mean?
That to me would be like you would be taking a spoon, putting ice cream in your booty hole, and then I'm going to eat it out of your booty hole.
I mean, he was
I'm not
doing all
going
the
to,
things. He was
'cause
like,
at that point, you could have just had ice in your mouth and eaten your ass.
yeah,
out.
but that
That's the
doesn't
same
taste
fucking
like
thing.
ice cream.
It would have respected your veganism.
But I didn't tell him I was vegan. Well, I think I told him I was vegetarian. But like in the moment, I wasn't like, oh God, you know.
You know that's the best part of the story, right? That you think him
Yeah,
eating ice cream
I
and
legit
licking
thought
your
like
asshole
this is not
ruined your veganism.
This is not me being a good vegan right
my
now.
God.
So I should tell people like, oh, I'm only 5 days vegan because
Someone ate me
2
out
days
after they
in,
had
yeah.
lactose,
Yeah.
milk, cow dairy,
cow pus.
cow, yeah, in your butthole.
But yeah, and then it was just odd, very weird.
I mean, my only food experience would be, I made pulled pork the other day and made the fucking mistake of asking my Pete Davidson to shred the pork, thinking he was going to come over and do it with forks. And I stood there fucking salivating as I watched him use his fingers to rip up all the Bitch, I like him too much. I'm sitting in the kitchen and I'm just watching him just fucking just anything with those hands, girl. Anything with them hands. I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah.
He did something, or we were driving and he did something, and I just caught myself looking at him and he was like, what's up? And I was like, nothing.
But yeah. Talking to people about that stuff ahead of time is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But also I've learned kind of like to be like, no, I'm not okay with that. But I think a little bit was a little curious, you know, because you always see it on TV, people doing the strawberries and shit or whatever. And I was like, I think part of me was like, oh, well, the same with like Pop Rocks or whatever. It was like, oh, do Pop Rock or whatever, which I don't think I've ever done.
Oh, I
have.
I have Pop Rocks on the side of my bed right now. We
I
bought
probably
a pack
should
of 20.
do that.
I'll bring you a pack for next time.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
We'll eat them and do the podcast at the same time.
No, you eat.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the joke.
Got it.
But yeah,
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about,
if you give somebody a blowjob and you do Pop Rocks at the same time, it supposedly feels really good.
it does.
And also sounds cool.
Yes, so it is enjoyable for the blowee as well as the blower.
Yeah. I've always wanted my dick sucked with a bunch of little candies around it.
It's kind of sharp. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
This is explosive.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe so. I would have been a little different if like it was Taco Bell. We could have had a toast. We could have shared a tostada.
Oh, you could have Lady in the Tramp Mexican pizza.
Yeah, a little pintos and cheese moment. If you'd have been like, "Hey, I want to eat your ass out with pintos and cheese," I'd been like, "Yeah, bitch, let me spread that ass."
Please, Taco Bell sponsor us. I'm sure they love this business.
Yeah, he's like, "I want to pour Baja Blast." Like if we were making out and he just poured a Baja Blast in between our faces, that would have been great. This is a question. Who the hell orders any of Taco Bell's like slushy drinks? You know what I mean? They always have them. They always advertise. They're like Baja Blast slush. I've never seen anyone order these before.
You mean you've never seen the 3 cars in front of you when you're waiting at Taco Bell order a slushie?
No, I never see anybody get those.
Well, that's also what you said though about people ordering things off menu. You know what I mean? Like you said, they have like the green burrito.
Taco Bell needs to do milkshakes.
So they can tell everyone their machine's broken all the time?
I wish there was an app that would just tell you how long the wait lines are at fucking fast food places. I mean, it would never work.
Fuck?
But yeah,
that is a genius
you know what
idea.
I mean? If somebody just had an app, like, because like Uber will tell you what the wait times are for shit. And if you order online, it'll tell you wait times. The downside is like, so when we were doing Disneyland, they have their little thing will tell you, oh, Star Tours is only a 10-minute wait. The problem is everyone fucking runs over there when it's a short wait and then the time goes up.
Correct.
So, I mean, yes, you could have an app that been like, oh, hey, there's no fucking line at McDonald's, but then everyone's going to rush
just tell me
there.
how fast the line's moving. I mean, if you can tell me that traffic is delayed 2 minutes, why can't my MapQuest or fucking Google Maps tell me that there's a fucking... It can't tell me that there's a 2-minute additional wait at my Mickey's? You know what I think's also funny is the inflation. The 2 for $6 is now 2 for $6.50.
Man, inflation shit needs to. That's crazy, man. The world is weird.
I mean, but if you're telling me the 50 cents extra I'm paying for my fucking 5-cent food is going to the employees and not the CEO,
No,
be a little
I think
happier.
a lot of the inflation also comes from the transport. So when it's on a big fucking truck, that now costs that much more money to get it from California to Oregon or whatever. Like everything now costs more money because of the gas price. It's fucking stupid. I mean, obviously there's a war going on and we just had COVID and there's all these things, but like, I don't know. If you're listening to this podcast in America, you get it. And if you're listening to this everywhere else, you also get it. But like, America is just very shitty. Like when we go, hey, we need to do something about the environment. There's literally half of our government that's like, nah. You know what I mean?
For real.
Half of we're like, hey, we need to do something about guns. And half of our government is like, hey, people are dying in schools. We should do something. Like all these people are like, nah, it's fine. But the environment, like we should be going, hey, these are the steps we need to take to protect the environment.
Right. To heal things and make better.
To just be on the right track. Half of our country just like doesn't believe that that's even real.
So that was like during the pandemic. I mean, specifically, my favorite murder, Karen was talking about how she could smell the jasmine for the first time in LA and she had never been able to. So there's all the smog. They said that you were actually able to see noticeable difference in China because the factories were shut down there for, I don't even think it was a week. I think they were like days. And just those factors being shut down and there being no pollution, like we can actually make a difference. Right. So,
well, I can't remember what it was and you guys can correct me, but there was something, oil company, they did a huge campaign about people's individual carbon footprint. So that whole thing was like created to make us individually feel like this environmental stuff as an individual matters, which it does, but huge companies, these manufacturers and all these, they're some of the biggest,
of course,
influences on our
well, also, I hate to say it, but celebrities too. I just learned today these motherfuckers are taking private jets from one side of LA to the other.
Yeah.
You taking a fucking 20-minute jet? You taking a 3-minute?
Kardashian just got lit up.
Yes.
She took a 3-minute jet.
3-minute jet for a 20-minute drive. Yeah. You fucking privileged.
I mean, it's got to take you longer than that to get to an airport.
But that's what the other argument where there are, athletes and people like that, like somebody, because unfortunately, these idiots don't know that all that shit is tracked. There's like websites where you can watch fucking planes. Yeah. Yeah. And this guy said he's been monitoring and he sees that the celebrities take jets from one side of LA to the other. And he said it actually takes them longer to do that and more wasteful than to just make the fucking drive.
Yeah.
The time it takes you to get to the airport, get to the plane, get on your jet, fly, land, get off the airport.
But the celebrities have different like shit. They have different like terminals. Somebody was telling me that like, or I can't remember where I read it, but they have a different check-in area where they go and get screened somewhere and then they get taken to the gate.
Depending, yeah. Or it's a private planes, I don't think, at least in pdExes, our airport. Yeah, I thought that was really clever, bitch. Our airport, private planes are in a separate whole area. So I would imagine if you were a celebrity, you wouldn't be walking necessarily down the fucking terminal unless you were coming on a big plane like from New York.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everybody should be taking necessary steps. But also, if you're going to call out celebrities, all right, do you have all your ducks in a row too? Yeah. I just think that we just need to make steps to like heal our planet. And if you don't, like, there's always this argument like, oh, the world goes through changes and this and this. And it's like, how the fuck do you know, bitch? I mean, like, we've only been on this planet for a tiny amount of time and we are destroying it. You can clearly see that we're destroying the planet. I mean, and then we also talk about population and all that stuff. And they're like, oh, everybody should have babies and the population is declining. It's like, good. The population should go down a little bit. There's a lot of people on this planet. Not that I want people to like not have babies, but like
a lot of my friends who are my age, I work with a lot of people who are younger than me. A lot of people do not want to have kids.
Why? Why would anybody want to have kids right now? Like,
I totally support if you feel like, that's necessary, that you're calling. We're not bashing having kids. However, I think as our generation gets older, we realize that babies are cognizant human beings that we have to take care of for 25 plus years, 100 years, whatever.
There's nothing wrong if you don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I mean, do I want to have a kid with my Pete Davidson? I don't know what the world's going to be like in fucking 18 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now. That's scary. I don't even know what we're going to be like in a year from now.
I mean, doing this podcast probably. But yeah, I mean, everyone's got to make their own decision, on whether or not you want a family. Hopefully you can make that decision. Mm-hmm. But yeah, sometimes it's like with people nowadays growing up, it used to be the thing of like, have kids. And that's just been passed down, whether it's religion or family. And like, oh, my mom wants me to have a child. So there's all this pressure on people to have kids. And it's like, fuck that. Like, I would love to have a kid, but we just got a new dog and it's fucking like the dog's great, but also it drives me fucking crazy. And I could put the dog in a kennel. I couldn't put a baby in a kennel. Correct. I mean, I have a crib, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of work and it's a big commitment. Also, is the person that I, let come inside of me that, I'm supposed to raise this baby with, are they going to want to be with me? There's all these things. Ooh, that book Verity was really good. Sidetrack.
That book is fucking amazing.
If you haven't, a podcast.
Colleen Hoover wrote Verity.
It is so good.
Verity.
Yep. I did the audiobook, which Alexa read it, hard copy.
Okay. As I'm getting older, with TikTok and everything, I'm learning I have ADHD.
Yeah.
Not great. Never been able to read a book like cover to cover. I read that shit in fucking 2 days, 3 days, maybe. I mean, I just was literally like, beep, 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 beep. And I went to work, and the whole time I'm at work, I'm like, I gotta go home. I think the husband did it. Fuck!
Yeah, it's a really good book.
You gotta read it. It's so
also,
good.
It's very on brand. If you're already listening to our podcast, nothing in this book is going to scare you. The audiobook was very, very good. So I recommend that. But I also do like reading.
And that was one of her books that was standalone. If you ever come visit Portland, you have to go to Powell's Books.
Yeah,
Powell's Books is one of the coolest places. The people who work there are super cool. Yeah. You don't even have to go there to buy books. There's lots of trinkets and pens and socks and cups and water bottles. And I remember I've gone on a couple dates there, and it's always super fun because there's a niche for everybody. And like, when I was dating the artist, I want to say the top floor is all art books. And it was really cool to just be kind of in that moment.
Right.
But yeah, Powell's Books is dope. I mean, downtown's okay, I guess.
I think it's getting back to that's everywhere though.
But if you come to Portland, you have to go to Powell's Books.
Powell's
you
Books
have
is
to.
great. Yeah.
You have to.
Well, we learned a lot today.
Did we?
We learned about drive-ins. And then just being able to say no. If you don't want to go on a date, feeling a little tingles, call an audible.
We also learned about Pop Rocks blowjobs.
Yes. Yes. We'll have to try that out.
I'll bring you some next time.
Yeah. And we did my ice cream rim job.
Yeah. Well, we talked a lot about kinks today.
Yeah.
Kink play.
Food play.
And that's okay. Maybe, a little convo before you, the initial ask.
Yeah. But whatever.
Hey, I'm into this. Test the waters a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't mind that it happened.
Do you?
I mean, it was an interesting experience.
I totally was fine with that.
It just, it's something that happened. And I was like, all right, that was a thing. But yeah.
God bless.
Well,
wait. We actually had a shitty dating story. Yes.
Was that shitty?
Yes. Jesus Christ. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, do you have to clap?
Oh, yes. Ooh.
That was a good one.